This is my Batman the Detective full series review. It stopped a few weeks ago, so I thought I would review it and let you know if you should pick it up or not. Batman the Detective is a 2021 six-issue miniseries that ended a few weeks ago, written by Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor is known for writing amazing books such as Injustice, Deceased, currently writing the Dark Ages Marvel run, which I'm really enjoying. And we're gonna see if you should pick this up or let it go. Now, I'm gonna talk about the pros and the cons of this story. Personally, I really liked it. I think Batman fans are gonna really like it. I think comic book fans are gonna like it. Okay, here's some of the pros. In my opinion, the characters are really well done. I think Tom Taylor knows how to write Batman. I think Tom Taylor knows how to change characters in only little ways and not too much to the point where they don't feel like the same characters. I think he did the Equilibrium, who's the main villain group in the story. I think he did them really well, and I didn't know really anything about them before the story, so I'm really happy I read this because they were done really well. And this is Squire's, one of Squire's first actual main character roles in a comic series, and I think he did Squire really well. Along with characters, I think Batman's morals were on display and why he does what he does. I think Batman's morals and values were shown greatly, especially when combating against the Equilibrium. I think the Equilibrium is a good match for Batman to show him the opposite side of what he does and why maybe what he does isn't always great. There's some big plot points relating to why maybe his value of not killing can backfire, and that's really shown by Tom Taylor in this story. Sorry, I blanked there for a second. I think another positive of the story is I think the ending was really satisfying. I think a mini-series that takes a while to come out, so this, I believe the first issue came out in April or May, and a mini-series that takes a while to come out with unsatisfying endings or endings that feel rushed or quick, or you just want more out of it and you're like, hey, this doesn't feel like it should finish here. It feels like there's more. I'm waiting for it, but I'm never gonna get that. I think this doesn't have that. I think this has a really good ending. I think it's satisfying, and I read the ending, I was like, okay, that's a cool place to end it. That was a good story. So I think Batman Detective has some really good pros, but it does have a few cons, just like any book that's good or great. It's not amazing, it's good. Some of the cons, in my opinion, the character designs can be pretty flawed. A few panels with Batman and with Bruce Wayne and one with Nightwing. I mean, I understand that they're supposed to be older and their faces are changing, their bodies are changing, but it just doesn't fit with me. Sometimes when I see Bruce Wayne, I didn't see Bruce Wayne, I saw someone else, and I didn't know who I was seeing. I mean, they had a lot more wider faces and like sharp, wide jawlines, and I understand Batman can sometimes be written like that, and they're older, and Nightwing's not a teenager in this story, he's an adult, but he was only in one panel, I believe, for the whole series, maybe a few, unless I'm forgetting some, but I don't know. The human designs weren't amazing. I think the Batman suit designs were really well done. I really like the jacket over top, the, I'm just gonna call them goggles, that makes him sound silly, but the goggles on his suit, and it looks more damaged, it symbolizes that he's a bit older. It's really good. Okay, but yeah, the human designs could have used some work in my opinion. Okay, another con is I think a few issues, 1 to 2, were pretty, let's say forgettable, or maybe not as significant. I think when a mini series is coming out, and it's a series I'm reading, and the last issue doesn't excite me for the next one, I'm not gonna want to pick up the next one that bad. I think issues 1, 5, and 6 of this story were really good, in my opinion. I think issues 2 and 4 were meh. 3, I'm not sure, but I think 2 and 4 could use some work. And I think coming out of issue 2, I wasn't as excited to read issue 3. But after issue 3, I mean, I realized like the story is probably going to be pretty good. So I was excited to read every issue. But with the series, if an issue isn't, if you're going to buy the next issue of a story at your LCS, and you remember, hey, the last issue wasn't that good, you're not going to be as exotic or excited or ecstatic to buy the next issue. But it made up for that, in my opinion. The final 2 issues being pretty good, and the first issue was a really good start, set up the baseline for the story. So those are my pros and cons for this story. Like I said, I think Batman fans will really like this story. I think just comic book fans that maybe aren't the biggest fan of Batman will still like this story. The trade paperback and the hardcover, I believe, comes out early 2022 in February. So cop or drop this story. I definitely think you should cop this story. I'm not going to give it a number rating because I don't do those. I think they're a little bit inconsistent sometimes, but I definitely think this is good. And if you have it on your shelf, just to have it on your shelf and you don't read it, I think the cover art in this story, I think the cover art for issue 1, which is going to be on the hardcover, is pretty good. And the story is good. Give it a read. If you can get it in single issues, I mean, if you want to, go ahead. I'm not going to get it in trade paperback. I'm not going to get it in trade paperback or hardcover just because when I have something in single issues, I tend not to get it in another form of book like omnibus or hardcover or collector edition, because I mean, I like to buy books I haven't read before, not repeats of the same book just in a different format. That's just me. But if you are thinking of getting the single issues or trade paperback, definitely, in my opinion, it's a cop. Thank you guys for watching. Happy December, happy holidays. Have a good Christmas.